Greetings, peace, and blessings to everyone. Thank you for being here. We are discussing in this video a comment and a statement that IYANLA'S made that I thought was super interesting and a very eloquent way, if you can associate the two, of her analyzing her being a single parent and how she actually defined herself as being a better father than she did a mother to her children while she was raising them. I just want to start off by giving credence. And even though we have single fathers just as well as we have single moms, I can only speak from a woman's perspective. And I have had my experience of being a single mom as well. So I can definitely speak on and feel qualified to speak from both perspectives or from both talking points on the perspective of being a single parent. And one thing that I can say is that being a single mom is one of the hardest jobs in the world. There's no manual for it, no perfect way to navigate the constant demands. But it's a reality that many, many, many women face, particularly in this country with the way that the system is constructed and how it doesn't encourage or support as far as being a government assisted situation. If you have both parents in the house, if you have one and you have children, dependents, then you can qualify to receive outside assistance via the government to raise your children with the requirement that the father is not in the home. So therefore, we have generations of children being raised in single mom homes. And that raises and brings up a whole different set of circumstances, right? Raising a child on your own means carrying the full weight of responsibility, whether it's financial, emotional, physical, on just one set of shoulders. Y'all, it's not just about paying bills, though that's hard enough, but it's about being both the nurturer and the disciplinarian. And that's where IYANLA really defined the parameter and the complication of being able to do both, especially when everything is on that mom's shoulders. Not to mention that we are also talking about the stress level that accompanies raising children that is designed for a father and a mother. But when you only have the mother and she's responsible for fulfilling the fatherly duties, roles, and responsibilities, we as women were not equipped and created for that role. We are nurturers, we are life givers. The husbands and the fathers are designed to be the providers. So I do want to show this small clip because no one can say it better than her since they're her words. But I did want to mention, because it echoes to so many and because her reach and impact is far and wide, that a lot of other single moms can relate to what she has gone through and what she states her experience was.
Horrible mother. Horrible. I was a great father.
Hold on. No, we gotta
We got to unpack that. Meaning, I was a horrible mother, meaning when my kids were growing up, I didn't know what mothering was. I didn't understand it. And because the father wasn't in the home in a positive way, I did the providing, I did the protecting, I did the guiding, and I didn't do the nourishing, the nurturing, the affirming. I didn't do that. I didn't have time. I had 3 kids and a job and a crazy man. So I had to protect them. I had to provide for them. I had to get the rent paid. I had to make sure that they had structure and system. The things that the father would have done had he been there, I had to do. So I didn't have time to wipe boo-boos and bake cookies and tell you how cute you are and how much I love you. Come on, let's get this done. We got to go. That's daddy.
Boy, I'm here to tell you that resonates. You know, we don't often talk about the stress that comes along with being a single parent and making sure that your children don't feel the absence of that other parent, no matter how heavy that load on that one set of shoulders may be. Now, realistically, you're not going to be able to master that. However, it is something that we need to be mindful of because it's not our children's fault, period. You know, children growing up with just one parent can struggle with the sense of loss already. It's easy for our children to seek validation or guidance in places that aren't always healthy because they feel that they're lacking something. They feel as if something is missing. They feel as if there is a void that needs to be filled. And that's why we as parents have our own roles and responsibilities regarding child rearing and raising. The lack of another adult in the household can lead to emotional or behavioral challenges because of that imbalance, right? And as for the mother, it means fewer moments of rest, less time for self care, and an overwhelming feeling of always being on. I can totally attest to that. You don't, even when I lay down to sleep, I have to be conscientious and intentional about shutting everything down and not feeling the guilt behind it. Because during the day, from the time my feet hit the ground, raising children, my brain is always on. If it's not looking at the provision, then it's at looking at the responsibilities of the house. I got to pay the bills. Then you're trying to at least spend some time with the children outside of the hustle and bustle of the responsibilities of getting them to and fro, of providing their basic needs and necessities, to leave any room for the nurturing aspect, right? And so it's an always on button when it comes to being a single mom, in my opinion. Now, talking about and incorporating society into the conversation, we live in a society where a lot of single moms are praised for their strength, and rightly so in some regards, but it can also come at a price. And in most cases, it does come with the price. Now, when you're looking at being the father in the home, or because the father is usually the provider and the responsible one when it comes to making sure that the home operates, everything flows, it's functional, it's systematic, nurturing can easily become second to that, because when you're dealing with the fatherly role, it's dealing with the survival aspect of the family and of the unit, right? And so, with that, when women and mothers have to incorporate that and take on that burden, then exhaustion can kick in, constant worry, the emotional burden of trying to be enough, when two would still feel like it's not enough in normal circumstances. It is a daily balancing act, one that doesn't often leave room for moms just to be ourselves, to turn on that off button, to say it is okay for us to take a moment for ourselves in order to regroup, to rejuvenate, just get back to rest up and get back to the point where, you know what, we can deal with this. We can do this another day. One thing I want to do, this is not going to be a long video because I just wanted to bring out the pertinence of what she said. And I appreciate IYANLA'S transparency, because you don't hear a lot of single moms being that honest and that forthright when they say, you know what, I was a much better father. I was a much better provider. I was a much better disciplinarian. I had structure. I implemented structure more so than I did what the children really, really needed, especially in their early formulative years, is the nurturing, the love, the attention, along with those other things. That's why there's a yin and a yang, and that's why there is a father and a mother's energy that is required to procreate. But as a single mom, I just want to end with this. It's okay to make time for yourself and not feel guilty. Skip the guilt. We have to take time for ourselves in order to be good for anybody else. We also have to take time for ourselves in order to maintain and to keep a positive outlook on life. That to me, being a parent in itself is one of the hardest jobs. But being a single parent doubles that complexity and that load on the shoulders. Give ourselves permission to skip the guilt, to build and utilize a support system. We were not designed and created to do this by ourselves. So please do not continue to try to be superwoman if that's the role that you are assuming in parenthood to prove anything to anybody. The old adage, it takes a village to raise a family. That is so true. Whether it's your tribe, your friends, you have other family members, you have people that you consider family, that your children are raised around, that don't mind sharing some of those moments where you just can't do it, or it would make your life a little less complicated if somebody else stepped in that you trusted, that you vetted. Of course, these things don't need to be said, they just need to be understood. And we have to establish boundaries, not just with others, but with our children as well. Because self-care is love, not just to ourselves, but to our children. It's an expression of love to anyone connected to us. If we are walking around feeling neglected, neglecting ourselves, we teach people how to treat us. They will mimic and they will act accordingly as to how they see you treat yourself. And it's going to filter into the relationships. It is a super delicate balance. It's not impossible. We will fall short. However, if those are the cards that we have been dealt, or that we have dealt ourselves, however you look at it, it could still be done with accomplishment and success. And I just want to say again, I appreciate the transparency, because It's a tough conversation to have, but it's one that needs to be said. It needs, with so many of us, this is our reality. And so we have to establish some normalcy and some transparency amongst one another so we don't feel alone, so we don't always feel so overburdened, so we don't always feel like the weight of the world is on our shoulders. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next video. I appreciate y'all. Peace.